A Dodgers non-roster invitee is making a strong push to make the Dodgers opening day roster. Dave Roberts all but confirmed when we'll see Roki Sasaki in his first Cactus League game. All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Warrior Parade! We got it, Parade! The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series!
Starts the 50-50 clock. Roki magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live, the #1 Dodgers show and podcast on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain, credentialed member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, drop all of your comments down below. Let me know, do you think that Ha-Seong Kim will get the final spot on the roster on the position player side? Will it be Andy Paz? Will it be David Bote? And also comment Roki of the Year so you're eligible for our next big giveaway. We're giving away a authentic Dodgers number 11 Roki Sasaki jersey once we hit 120,000 subscribers, so be sure to do that. Also, if you want to do me a huge favor, after this, search the Big Lead One on YouTube. Subscribe. You can also comment over there in the comments to help you win. And also join our newest Discord channel. Got the Discord going. That thing's growing. I'm going to be involved in that heavily this year. So do those three things for me. Really, really appreciate it. But let's get right into it. Welcome in, Dodgers Nation. A little post-game action. A little late night, a little afternoon, late afternoon, early evening. I don't know where you're watching this version of Dodgers Dugout Live. I see you guys filing into the comments section. We got Clome 801 saying torrid time. We got Ray Soto CT3. Got rid of the bat waggle. Don't matter. 203 batting average. Yeah, we'll talk about that last roster spot here in a second. But I want to read some more of your comments, guys. Filing in here. We got to NS in the chat. We got real_Charlie Dodger. James is looking like he's a 4A player getting caught looking at hittable pitches. Yeah, really, no one has just taken that spot and kind of ran for it. But let's get the leadoff going because the biggest story today, and we'll get into some of Dave's comments and talk about Roki Sasaki and when we're going to see him, but it was great to see the World Series MVP back playing baseball in a Dodgers uniform. You had Freddie Freeman making his first start here in Cactus League play, the first time we've seen him play baseball and lace him up for the Dodgers in 2025. He was supposed to get 2 at-bats, but it's Freddie Freeman. Probably wanted to get an at-bat against a left-handed pitcher. Probably talked him into it, and he ends up with 3 at-bats. And he did get a hit once in his 3 at-bats. He had 2 hard-hit balls, top of the first inning. It was 2 strikes on the count, and he's able to just rip one to right field in typical Freddie Freeman fashion. And the noticeable detail was the fact that his ankle was taped up. The ankle was taped up, and he said that he does expect to have that ankle taped up through the first part of the season, all the way up until the All-Star break. And he also said the plan for him is to DH on Saturday and to play first base on Sunday. So Freddie Freeman, he's back. He is the absolute hero of all heroes. 696 World Series game. He hits the first walk-off grand slam. The Freddie pose. Replace the Statue of Liberty already with a Freddie Freeman statue. And then when Nestor Cortez goes to New York, he can see that every time he thinks that, hey, at the end of the day, the Yankees were the better the team. At the end of the day, you served up an absolute meatball to Freddie Freeman, and he crushed it for a walk-off grand slam. Get the heck out of here, Nestor Cortez. But here was Freddie Freeman after the game talking about just being back in the lineup, feeling really, really good again, and doing what he loves best, and that is playing baseball for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
It was nice, much anticipated. I've been kind of waiting for this day, 12 weeks post-op today. So I felt good. I had a plan of kind of swinging a lot because I'm a little behind in my at-bat, so I wanted to swing a lot more than I normally would just to see where my timing's at, and I actually saw the ball pretty well and felt pretty good up there. Yeah, I'm still, obviously I DH today. I'm probably DH again Saturday. So like tomorrow I'm going to go, and it's more of, I got to do like plyo stuff, like more jumping and stuff. That's the kind of the last, like a high throw at first base is kind of where I'm a little iffy on right now. I mean, my ankle feels pretty good, so I'm good enough to be able to get my at-bat, so I'm hoping to play DH Saturday and hoping to get out to first on Sunday. We'll kind of see how it responds, though. I had a lot going on for about 5 weeks there with injury-wise, but credit to our training staff. We put in a lot of work. We're still, Bernard and I are, we're here. I think we got here at like 9:30 today just to get me ready for 3 at-bats today. So a lot's going into me being able to get on the field, and it's all to our training staff. We put in a lot of work, and I'm just thankful that I was able to have that opportunity with all the injuries I went through, and I was able to grind it out, and thankful for the guys being able to give me a few days off in between the NLCS and the World Series to help me get on the field.
So the beautiful thing is Freddie Freeman is a tireless worker, a diligent worker, and he found a way to get ahead of schedule. And this is important for a Dodgers team that opens the season earlier than any team in baseball outside of the Cubs, the team they face in Tokyo, Japan, starting on March 18th. So getting him into the fold and continuing the progression to running and feeling better about it. Look, he's not going to be at 100%. That's what Dave Roberts said. He's not 100%. That's unrealistic, but it's Freddie Freeman. I'll take 90% of Freddie Freeman over 100% of 95% of baseball players out there, especially in a clutch situation. And then Freddie was asked about this Dodgers lineup. And the good thing is the continuity. We're essentially getting the same Dodgers lineup as we saw last season with Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Teoscar Hernandez. Those will make up the top 4 of your lineup, a ferocious top 4. You got the MV3 right at the top, Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie. But hey, you could call it the Mount Crushmore. You could call it this ferocious 4 that is going to be the best and most productive top 4 of any lineup in Major League Baseball, in my opinion. And Freddie was asked about what makes it so special, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, I think it's more, you can hit both sides of but we can hit left and right. One swing of the bat, you can change the game. I mean, leading off with Shohei, I mean, it's something else. And then it's not a typical power hitter. He steals 60 bases pretty much last year. And then you got Mookie, it's just Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer, and it's just fun to hit behind him and get on base. And Teo, middle of the battle order, Silver Slugger, and then you can go Max, Will. It's just all-star after all-star. So it's fun. As long as we can stay healthy and put together good at-bats, hopefully we can score a lot of runs this year.
So there was Freddie Freeman, the sound courtesy of Sportsnet LA, our friends over there, and the Dodgers. But I will say it's great to see Freddie Freeman just in this organization, a contract that some people were doubting early on. I mean, you had Dodgers fans, some were wondering about his commitment, and some were saying, oh, just go back to Atlanta because he was showing some emotions when they went back to Truist Park and he had the big fallout there and he wanted to finish his career there. No, look, it wasn't the best start, I guess. But production-wise, he was still fine, but it feels like he's just such a Dodger at this point. He's so proud to be in this organization. He has the best moment ever. I love the fact that he could have played 20 years with the Braves, and then last year was the only year with the Dodgers, right? Well, anytime you say Freddie Freeman, for the rest of eternity, you're going to think of him in a Dodgers uniform because of his Grand Slam home run in the World Series. And I will say, look, I think Shohei Ohtani is going to win another MVP if he stays healthy and he's a top 10 to 15 pitcher and a top 5 batter. Look, I know that it might get boring for voters and sports writers out there that are looking for new, fresh stories, but the truth is, when someone's a unicorn and no one can do what he does, and let's not make it feel normal what Shohei does. If he goes out and does that, he should be a runaway for the MVP as long as he's able to do that. But I will say, kind of just looking at it, if Freddie Freeman could make a run at the MVP, just have a great year offensively, hit like 60-plus doubles, 30-plus home runs, similar to what he had a couple of seasons ago, and he's the best player on the best team in baseball, it'd be kind of nice because then he would have a World Series MVP with the Dodgers. You would have a regular season MVP on a full 162-game season, and then we could start to have a conversation. Hey, does Freddie Freeman go into Cooperstown with a Dodgers hat on his plaque? I think maybe right now you would have to say that it has to be blank at this point, just because of how synonymous he is with the Dodgers now because of the moment and his contributions to a World Series with this team. But hey, that'd be cool. But now the interesting development with Freddie Freeman is just where this Dodgers team's at. And David Bote is someone that is making a very, very strong push to have this Dodgers team and this organization have long, hard conversations about having him make this opening day roster. He was a non-roster invitee. He has one option year remaining. So I do think that no matter what, even if he doesn't make the opening day roster, which is still just way up in the air, I do think that he's still going to be contributing to this team in some capacity this season. We will be seeing David Bote this year unless another team comes calling, but he has been the Dodgers' best player during spring training so far. And yes, we're a little over a week into games. He's played 6 games. He has 15 at-bats, but he is absolutely not only raking, but tearing the cover off the baseball. The exit velocities are off the charts. He's 8 for 15 with 2 doubles, a home run, 6 ribbies, just 3 strikeouts, a walk in those 15 at-bats, hitting .533, .563, slugging .867 with a .1430 OPS. Look, I know some people don't love early spring training numbers just because they look so gaudy and video game-like, but I think they're fun to read. But David Bote is, like I said, it'd be one thing if he's getting these CNI singles, these soft base hits or anything, but no, it's the way that he's getting these hits. 5 of his 8 hits have exit velocities that are over 100 miles per hour. I mean, look at these the single to start the spring for him, 103.9 miles per hour. Followed that up with one that was 110.7 miles per hour off the bat. A ground out that is getting pretty decent exit velos, but you're looking at the singles all above 100 miles per hour. And that's something that this organization considers and looks at. They consider not just the contact, the consistency, but the quality of contact, the expected numbers, because that's a strong indication of how much success you could possibly have for this team in this league. And now, the reason this is linked to Freddie Freeman is since Freddie Freeman is back, it takes up his spot playing first base. But Bote did play second base in the other game on Sunday, and he's played all over the field in his big league career when he was with the Cubs. So he does have that positional versatility that this organization covets. He can play third, can play short, can play second, can play first base, and he's a veteran. I mean, he's been around the block for a good amount of time. And what I always say, there's no one random on the Dodgers. If you are here, you're here for a reason. And David Bote talked about this yesterday. He talked about the fact that the Dodgers reached out to him. They pointed out that there were some things in his swing that they think that they could fine-tune mechanically. And now he's in the Dodgers organization. They've made some of those adjustments, and you're already seeing it bear fruit. So the Dodgers wouldn't just do that if they didn't think that he could be someone that could help this team and be a participant, a contributor on the big league roster. But here was David Bote talking about his early spring success, going after a roster spot, and how good he's feeling at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, versatility is huge. I've done it my whole life, my whole career. Third, second, short, first, like whatever they ask me to do, like I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help the team win. So, just every day with Woody, the infield guys, just being out there working at different position, different concepts, different, footwork, handwork, just trying to be as sharp as you can at all positions and be ready when your name's called.
So you hear that right there. I mean, he is ready for anything, any opportunity that comes his way. But what I was looking for was the positions. Is he comfortable in another spot? Are they going to give him more looks at second base? Because that is where it's open right now. And here's Bote talking about other positions on the diamond that he can hold down.
Oh, it's been awesome. It's just been good to be here with the guys. Got out a couple of weeks early with before spring training, and kind of got into the flow and got some good work with the coaches and the players, and it's just been a really good experience so far. Yeah, we haven't had too many conversations, just kind of in passing. They say, hey, keep up the good work, great at bats, keep going. It's a lot of encouragement, a lot of praise, just saying, hey, you're doing great, keep doing your thing, and that's about it. Working with RVS and Bote and all the hitting guys, it's just they're the best in the business over here. You see it from afar, and to be able to come over and to access those guys and those minds and how they work over here has just been it's been awesome. They're the best in the business for a reason, and it's just been really cool to work on some things and see the results of it.
And he's seen those results early and often, and he's put them into use. So you have to expect that he's only going to get better, right? He's only going to continue to take the things they've told him to work on and continue to see benefits from it. So, yeah, look, I'm kind of on the boat with Bote right now. I kind of am. I mean, I think you look at the struggles of Ha-Seong Kim early on and the fact that he's still a rookie coming in from the KBO, trying to earn a spot on a team that has the highest expectations of any team in Major League Baseball, playing a major market. And the swing just hasn't looked like it's translated to hitting big league pitching yet. So far for Kim, he is 1 for 12 with 5 strikeouts, hitting 83. Defensively, had a couple lapses, but the flashes certainly have been there. And look, things can change. But he's just someone that's also made some swing adjustments. But the difference between Kim's swing adjustments and Bote's swing adjustments is Bote has played in the show, right? David Bote has played at the big league level. This is not someone who's coming from another league and is trying to see what he is. And yeah, Bote hasn't played a lot, right, or anything like that. But still, I mean, 421 games is none to sniff at, a 711 OPS in his career. So if anything, it's just something to monitor. Like I told you on yesterday's show, I heard from someone in the organization that Ha-Seong Kim has to absolutely bomb to not make the opening day roster. Well, I mean, so far he's 1 for 12. And I think that the other big thing there is that spring training is going to be used to evaluate Kim versus it's not going to be used to evaluate someone like a Chris Taylor potentially, or people talking about Michael Conforto because of his slow start and things like that. But when it comes to veterans, they know their ramp up. They know what it requires to feel right at the plate. For them, it's all just a process. For a young player, spring training at bats mean more. Spring training opportunities mean more just because you're on the cusp, right? You're on the cusp of trying to either crack a big league roster, keep your spot on a roster, but the eyes are zeroed in, right? They're zooming in on you. The magnifying glass, the microscope is on you when you're a player that's on the bubble, and some of these guys are. And look, I see people out there talking about the Dodgers record. The Dodgers are 2-6, and what's wrong with this team? Is this going to bleed into the regular season? What does it say about the culture? Wins and losses don't mean anything for spring training, but individual performances, especially for young players that are trying to impress coaches and make this team, do. So spring training, no, it's not meaningless. The record is. Winning a spring training game means nothing. I mean, maybe the Padres would have a parade if they had the best record in spring training, not the Dodgers, right? And look, some guys are just getting off to slower starts, not as sharp as we saw them last season. But here was Dave Roberts after the game talking about just where the players are at right now and his reaction to today's game.
I think they're all getting their work in. They're all building up, getting on a regular schedule, and some of those guys weren't particularly sharp today, but that's kind of why you do spring training, and they all came out of it fine.
So that's the most important thing. Coming out of it fine, working on your stuff, not getting injured, anything like that, and that's what they're looking for. Now, James Outman is someone else that's trying to just get something to feel good about after just what was let's just not sugarcoat it. It was not a good season for James Outman. You look at all the numbers, it was down. It was a down year after having an above average season his rookie campaign. He followed that up where he was well below league average at the plate. He struggled against lefties, struggled to hit spin, especially fastballs up in the zone. So far, James Outman in 5 games, He is 2 for 13. And yes, that's not going to impress the coaches, but what really sticks out is the 9 strikeouts. 9 strikeouts, that leads all Dodgers players, and that is what is going to ultimately determine if James Outman gets an opportunity for this team. And I think that right now you look where they're at from the roster standpoint, I don't see how you could have James Outman ahead of someone like a Andy Pages or even a Kim because of the investment they have in Kim and the versatility that he brings in the infield. So, yeah, I mean, right now, I mean, it just has not been a good start for James Outman. I mean, Chris Taylor hasn't done that much better. He's 3 for 11. Also, high strikeout numbers, 6 strikeouts in that stretch. But like I've been saying, like I've been hearing, they're not going to DFA Chris Taylor or write him off based on a poor spring training performance. They're just not going to do that because they own 13 plus million, because of what he means to this franchise and frankly this city. So if you're looking for that, and you can talk about all you want, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to be seeing that. So yeah, I think that where we're at right now. So just kind of looking at the roster on the position player side, Andy Pages, he's battling for a roster spot. Hassan Kim, he's battling for a roster spot. David Bote, he's stepped onto the scene. I think Eddie Rosario is an interesting one just because Rosario, they're not going to care as much about losing his roster spot because if they bring him up and have to DFA him, they're fine with that, right? And if another team comes calling and offers him a big league deal, he'll certainly take that. So they're less invested in Eddie Rosario. With David Bote, he plays the infield and he's got the 1 option year remaining, whereas Eddie Rosario, essentially a corner outfielder at this stage of his career. In the Dodgers, you have Teoscar, you've got Kike, you've got Chris Taylor, you've got Michael Conforto that can certainly get the lion's share of the reps of that position. But as far as the position player side right now for the opening day roster, of course, the locks, things are a pretty decent shot. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman are on that roster. But you got Ohtani, Betts, Freeman. That's 3. Teoscar, Will Smith, and Muncy. That's 6. Edman, Conforto, Barnes, Kike, Miguel Rojas. Those are absolute locks. Absolute locks. And then 12, I think Chris Taylor, based on what I've heard, probably going to make it. And then the 13th spot, Andy Pages, Hassan Kim, and then you've got David Bote. Could David Bote make it? I think with the Dodgers, it kind of comes down to, do you want to play Tommy Edman at second and have Andy Pages in center field? Because with Andy Pages in center field, especially against a lefty, that definitely bodes well for you. And then with Tommy Edman at second base, you can either have some platoon action for him, throw Kike into that spot, or he's a switch hitter himself, so you can mix and match there. And then Hassan Kim, if they really want him on this spot, because he can play center field too, that's going to be the big question. So I really think that's what it's going to come down to. Really, can Kim figure it out a little more at the plate, because he does bring a little more versatility. And look, I mean, someone like Dalton Rushing, he's going to make his debut at some point this season. I got a chance to have a really good conversation with him, and what he told me is he thinks his future for this team in the near future is being a backup for Will Smith. And he told me he wants to help Will Smith continue to make all-star teams, make a name for himself, get to the Hall of Fame, that kind of stuff. So he hasn't looked that incredible at the plate so far. So he's going to take some time, but Dalton Rushing's a star. Honestly, he's going to be a star for this team. I'm pretty confident in that. But let me know down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts on kind of that final roster spot? Someone mentions James Outman. He really would have to take a big leap at the plate. Michelada Poppy, D-Mac, take a shot at tequila to help your voice. Yeah, my voice is it's a little cooked, man. Feel like Nestor Cortez in the World Series, just straight up cooked right now. Kim is okay. That's a tough one. 9 of 13 strikeouts is awful. That's from NS. A CT contract, not feeling great this year. That's from Jay Simmies. We got BC. They really expect MV3 to do everything offensively. I wouldn't like it if I were them. Look, I think you're going to see, it's been a slow start for Conforto. I think he's going to hit 20-plus home runs. I mean, Could even hit 30 home runs this year. He hit 20 home runs at Oracle. I mean, playing for the Giants was 17 at Oracle and 17 outside Oracle, only 3 there. So he only had 3 home runs in his home ballpark last season. So I actually think that he's going to have a good year. I really do. I mean, he hit lefties better than he hit righties last season. And I think Teoscar Hernandez is going to be big too. And Will Smith, I think, is going to have a bounce back year. The ankle was giving him problems. And Max Muncy looks lean and mean. He's in a essentially contract year because he wants to get a multi-year deal, not just have the Dodgers pick up that club option. So he's going to be motivated to have a good year as well. Tommy Edman, we saw what he's capable of in the playoffs, and I mean, he had those back-to-back 2 home run games. So I do think there's a better, longer, deeper lineup than we've seen. I think the outfield production is going to be better, and you just kind of need to see if you're going to get leaps. Are you going to get a leap from Andy Pages? Is Ha-Seong Kim going to be able to hit for average and get on base and help change the game with his running, with his ability to steal bases, stolen 211 games in his career in the KBO. So that really is definitely kind of the big question there. But baby steps, yes, appreciate the respect the Dodgers organization has for each player, and just don't write out player just because of spring training results. Ken, just keep getting reps. Nothing to worry about. Outman, another story. Zyhir Hope is a beast. Yeah, he is, man. Only 20 years old. Mookie Magic. Kim's swing looked better. He just caught in between a full swing fly out and a half swing ground out timing. Yeah, I think the bat speed looks like it's there, right? I mean, I think that is what's encouraging. And with hitters, especially early on, I mean, you know the old adage, pitchers are always ahead of hitters early on in spring training. But when it starts to click with him, I think you could see a quick turnaround for sure. And I think, too, what he brings to this lineup is someone that can hit for contact, right? You don't need 40 home run dudes every spot, right? And I think that that's something that kind of hurt this lineup in years past, just this boomer bust mentality. With Kim, if it works out, he brings that bat to ball, that contact-oriented hitter that can change the game with his speed, get on base at the bottom of the lineup, and turn it over for guys like Shohei and Mookie and Freddie, kind of like what we saw Gavin Lux do last season. So that's why I'm really encouraged by the possibility of him, and I'm really holding out hope that he figures it out, especially considering the fact that he bet on himself to go with the Dodgers like he did. And then we got Jinjo Star. How is Chris Taylor going to stay in this roster if he's playing terribly? Yeah, I mean, look, you have to remember that he plays multiple positions, outfield, infield. They like his depth. And, hey, man, it's 13 million reasons why they're going to continue to stick with him, if you know what I mean. Bote is a CT3 clone. Ben Kawucha, BC. You being confident, makes you feel, yeah, okay, VC. What's going on? Where do you think Bote ends up, Doug? I think it's still early. I do. I think it's still early, but he's just kind of that one guy that let's see how many opportunities they continue to give him at second base. With Freddie Freeman back, with this roster starting to get some of their guys back, we'll see how many opportunities he gets, how he makes the most of those opportunities, how the at-bat quality is looking, and then we'll just continue to have the conversation. Remember, the Dodgers, they only have, I think, 11 more spring training games before they take off for Japan, so this is an abbreviated spring training, but look, I think at the end of the day, they have more invested in someone like a Kim. And don't forget about Andy Pages, too, who is a young player in their organization for sure. Ishmael Sanchez, hey, D-Mac, you sound like Mookie after Heat's court. Okay, Ishmael, that's a bruh. You're getting a bruh. I wasn't going to throw out a bruh tonight, but I'm going to do one just because he deserved that bruh right there.
Bruh.
We got Elishiva Jones. According to Dave Roberts, Hunter Fiducia is going to get playing time with the Dodgers this season. He is next up for catcher, and Dave Roberts stated this. Yeah, Elishiva Jones, that's certainly what's in play. And the thing with Fiducia is he's going to be 28 in June, and he is ahead of Dalton Rushing on the depth chart. So we'll see what that means for him. I mean, think about Rushing. He's still young. And Fiducia, he looks like a big league catcher. And I think, like for Rushing, he just turned 24, so he's still young enough where you're not at that point yet. I mean, I always get worried when they're closer to 30 than they're 20. He's still closer to 20 than he is to 30. But I think for Hunter Fiducia, he's just so respected within the organization, the way he can handle these elite pitchers for the Dodgers. He can give you a respectable at-bat. I just feel like Fiducia, if I'm him, I'm like, man, I want to get big league money at some point. But, yeah, he probably will get some time this season for sure. There's no doubt about it. And Dave Roberts told us that last week. Opening day roster had Pages, unfortunately, Taylor and May and Conspiracy get last 2 bullpen spots with Phillips and Kopech out. Yeah, so let's get to that. So the pitching player side, the pitching on the pitcher side of the roster, I mean, as you point out, they are going to be missing 2 of their key cogs that are going to be major contributors this season to start the year in Evan Phillips and Michael Kopech. But when you look at that pitching side, there's still a ton of depth. You got Yamamoto, Sasaki, Glasnow, Snell. I think Gonsolin has the inside track for that 5th starter spot. I still think Dustin May, of course, makes the opening day roster, and they use him in a role where it's a short burst, but also giving him some spot starts, potentially the way he's being built up. So they're going to give him his opportunities. And then you got guys like Kirby Yates, Anthony Bonda, Alex Vesia, Blake Trinan that are absolute locks. And then Ben Casperius, I'm going to talk about him on tomorrow's show, but the life on his fastball, the improvements that he's made, it almost feels like Ben Casperius realizes that his path to making a roster spot on this team, to earning a roster spot on this team, is to empty the tank as a reliever instead of trying to sustain velo as a starting pitcher. So I think that's what you're seeing, and that's why you're seeing the uptick in velocity from Ben Casperius. He realizes that, hey, I got to taste of big league action in the postseason as well, and I want to be a part of this bullpen. To do that, I got to go out there and just empty the clip, man. He's doing that. He's having success with it. Then Landon Knack, too. He went today, wasn't the best, most sharpest outing for Landon Knack, but he's someone that is tinkering with stuff. I've talked to Knack about getting that slider right, and sometimes it takes a little while to really just feel like you're in midseason form with it. But he got his first start. He did hold the Rockies to no runs in an inning into third innings of work, and he threw 37 pitches. So continue to stretch him out. That was definitely the most important thing. But another thing to consider too was the slider. He threw 14 sliders today, and he's throwing against righties. Lefties, he only threw just a couple fastballs and a couple curveballs. So really the main thing for Landon Knack today was getting that slider in against lefties and just continuing to find that weapon to get out both sides and just be effective out there. So that's kind of the most important thing. But yeah, I mean, look, offensively, the Dodgers can provide very much run support. Just one extra base hit today. I mean, they were riding a nasty 1-for-19 stretch during this one. But yeah, I think Landon Knack's someone that certainly deserves consideration. Luis Garcia, from a velocity standpoint, he's turning some heads, pumping 95, 96, and he's someone that is kind of steady in there that you have to keep your eyes out for. But I think one of the big questions this season, though, is the health of the bullpen, and particularly the fact that you went out there and got Scott and Kirby Yates. That shows you that from a bullpen standpoint, they got the insurance with Yates and Tanner Scott in the event that Phillips and Kopech, if they have any issues. On the starting pitcher side, you got Roki and you got Snell in the event that Glasnow and Yamamoto have injury issues like we saw in year one. And you also have Ohtani coming back from second major arm surgery. But by the sound of it, Michael Kopech, they're just slow playing him. And he feels very, very confident about getting right, returning to form. And I caught up with Michael Kopech last week, and I asked him about just ramping back up, how he's feeling this spring. And by the sounds of it, he's going to be ready to rock and roll as soon as the process is completed. It doesn't feel like there's anything lingering, and that's the most important thing. But here's my conversation with Michael Kopech.
We're here with Dodgers superstar reliever Michael Kopech. Michael, first I want to ask you just, how's your arm feeling so far this spring? You were dealing with some stuff. I mean, I heard some different things about that, but are you close to 100%, or just kind of where you at from a physical standpoint right now?
I just had a little bit of inflammation. Honestly, some things were kind of just behind because of what happened. So I got sick. My family got sick. Had to take a little bit of time off training at a really unideal time. So when I started to build back up, there was just some stuff that was kind of gunky in there. So it's almost like I've reset my throwing program since being back here. So I wouldn't say I'm close to 100%, like close to game action. As far as health-wise, I'm close to 100%. But there's steps and there's kind of a long road back when you have to reset your training. So overall I feel good. I'm in good shape. I feel comfortable competing if I had the rush to compete, but I don't think that there's any rush right now. When you look around this clubhouse, there's no lack of talent here, so just trying to make sure that I give the team the best product I can when I get back.
So timeline-wise, you thinking start of the season, more like May, something like around that time?
Yeah, hopefully even before, right? Like I hope to not be shelved very long at all.
Okay.
But ultimately it is a little bit up to me, but not completely. So there's things that have to happen for me to be back, in an opportune time. So, I'm still shooting for April 1st.
Awesome.
I don't think Japan is realistic for me to pitch in. Maybe I'll be built up enough to where I could go and, get to experience it and train and everything like that. But even that may even be a possibility. Everything's so day by day right now. I hate to give any definitive type of answer about where I'm at. But yeah, it was good today, so I'll take that.
Awesome. And Michael, I want to just rewind a little bit. Last season with the White Sox, you go to the Dodgers, all of a sudden you're pitching in front of 40, 50,000 fans. You on the mound, you're exploding, showing that fire, that intensity, all those clips going viral. Just kind of talk about the experience, going from the White Sox to the Dodgers and then going on a World Series run. What was that like?
It was fun. That was kind of like where all that emotion came from. It's like, and it's nothing against the White Sox. It's just wasn't a whole lot of fun playing baseball when you're losing that many games. You get to show up and do what you want to do, and you get to train, and you get to work, and you get to do all the things that you've done your whole life. So for that aspect, it was still like my safe space. I still enjoyed the game in that way. But winning is always more fun. So I came over here, got to instantly feel, a winning environment. Got to, kind of uptick and compete like that, and I had a blast being here, and I because of the experience that I had, not just with the team and winning a ring and everything, but like the genuinity, if that's the word I'm looking for, of this organization is so authentic that. Like I take a lot of pride in wearing this blue, It's been a really cool experience for me.
Yeah, and it's not like your fastball needed any juice, but pitching in front of like 40, 50,000 must have taken to a whole nother level. So it was 102s in there. I believe it was the fastest pitch since Broxton back in like 2009 that we saw last season, but gives you that extra level of juice, seems like.
Yeah, it helps, and when you know that like that whole corner over there getting swarmed right now, the superstardom on the team, and how easy it really is to take a lead, and how much pride you have coming in and holding that lead. It's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Yeah, we had Roki Sasaki have his live BP. You guys need to have like a little velo off. He goes 102, you guys go 102, like a little dunk contest for like fastball velo. But what'd you kind of make of that whole live BP today?
I didn't get to see, unfortunately. I've seen him throw a few times. I really enjoy watching his delivery, how smooth he is. I was just mentioning this to somebody else. All the Japanese guys, they have such a unique way of throwing that's so smooth and efficient. It's really fun. It's pleasing to watch. And when somebody like him's doing it and it's coming out, upper 90s, 100, it's even more so impressive. So I'm excited to see him pitch in game action. I haven't got a chance yet, but I'm excited.
And you expressed kind of the possibility of kind of going back to a starter at some point. Is that still something that you might have as a goal, or you just kind of feel comfortable in your role now?
Both, really. I'm super comfortable in the role I am in now, and if this is, where my career unfolds as a reliever, then I'm fine with that. If an opportunity comes to start, and I feel like I have the endurance and the stamina and the health and everything to do that, I would love to entertain that, because starting is where I feel like pitchers have kind of most control of their game. So I love both aspects of it, but truly I just love pitching.
Awesome. Well, there he is, super reliever Michael Kopech. Congrats.
Love me some Michael Kopech. Interesting to hear him continue to talk about potentially being a starter at some point. I mean, hey, all these guys that still have it on the mound, I mean, you hold on to that dream because, one, the money is A little different when you're an elite starter versus an elite reliever, but he's going to be a beast for this team. I'm very excited about him and this organization for an entire season. Now, a couple of things we got to talk about is these future games. And tomorrow, you're going to see Shohei Ohtani back in the box for your Los Angeles Dodgers against the Angels. And like I said yesterday, it's like going to your high school reunion and you see your girlfriend from high school, but you roll up in like a perfect 10 model. The Dodgers are that perfect 10 model, and then Shohei's going to show him the ring on his finger that the Dodgers gave him, and she's going to be super duper jealous. So that's going to be Shohei Ohtani, but you're also going to see Will Smith, and here was Dave Roberts talking about getting those guys back in the lineup, back on the field in action tomorrow.
They are. You know what? It was a short off season, and some of these guys are, we're working them back slowly, but we're starting to get kind of back to full strength. And I'm excited to see Shohei, obviously, and see Will back in the lineup and kind of get some semblance of what we're gonna, have this year.
So you hear Dave right there. He's excited. Gets his more starters back, more guys going to see this season. Now, another perhaps the biggest bit of info that was given by Dave Roberts that he dropped early this morning in the scrum was that Roki Sasaki is most likely going to make his Cactus League debut for the Dodgers this coming Tuesday against the Cincinnati Reds. So it's not official, but right now that is what they're penciling in, Tuesday against the Reds. So Roki Sasaki, it's going to be a major, major step for him to face big league competition in an actual game for the first time. So that's going to be really, 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 really exciting. We'll do a post-game show after that one. And it's against the Reds. Man, face Gavin Lux. Gavin Lux against Roki Sasaki. That'll be really interesting. And that game's going to be really exciting that's going to be one of the most anticipated spring training games since probably last year for Shohei Ohtani. So that's going to be big, but let's go down below and end the show with any of your Dodgers takes, man. I asked you guys in the stream, who was your first favorite Dodger? I said Roki Sasaki. I was just messing around. First favorite Dodger, honestly, was Raul Mondesi. One time I went to a game and I was sitting near before the nets, and he chucked his bat in there, and it almost hit me, and I ducked, and I thankfully didn't get hit, and I got to keep his bat. I still have my Raul Mondesi bat today for sure. So that was my first. But let me see you guys. Yeah, Benjamin says Bill Russell. Molove says the Penguin. Koufax for Guy. Bellinger for Vengeance. Raul Mondesi. I was super young. It was like in kindergarten. It was like in first grade or something. But Manny Wood from Dylan. Steve Sachs is when I started watching. Mookie Betts is not a shortstop. Mike Piotz for Steven Blevins. Willie Davis for Eddie Hirsch. Who's your first favorite Dodger? Neil Casamoto says Bob Welch. Eddie Hirsch says Wes Parker. Adam 818. Sean Green's his favorite Dodger. Eric Schultz says Ron Say. Claudia 11 says Corey Seager. Ricardo says Bill Russell. Val says Matt Kemp. Awesome. We got Kevin Munch says Miguel Vargas still throwing up in his mouth. Matt says Steve Sachs. SoCal says Eric Gagne. Awesome. So, yeah, Gagne, man, you had to be there. Terry Estigals, T-Mac, the Gringo Mandingo. Okay. Kopech of the year, Mr. Six. Kopech had a 1.13 ERA for the Dodgers last year. It's from Benja Minsu. Yeah, absolute beast. He had the hardest thrown pitch since Broxton way back in the day. Just an absolute lights out, explosive reliever. But Mr. Six, Doug of the year, what's up? Taco Tuesday. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Roki on the mound. Darryl Strawberry for Trevor. Andre Ethier for Ishmael Sanchez. Baby Ruth. Lasorda. Awesome. Yeah, so, look, where this team's at, everything's going according to plan, really. We're going to talk tomorrow about kind of some bold predictions heading into the season. Also, the future of the third base position. Because a lot of you guys have been talking to me about that. Some guys that could pursue. We're going to have some fun with that one tomorrow. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Go drink some tequila like someone told me to do to help my voice. But that is going to do it, guys. Thanks for rocking with us, as always, here on the #1 Dodgers podcast and Dodgers show on YouTube. If you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button on your way out. Drop it down below. Roki of the year. Last roster spot. If you want to throw your first favorite Dodger, it'll be good times. And also subscribe to my newest channel, The Big Lead One. You can also help your chance of winning a Roki Sasaki jersey over there. Would really, really appreciate subscribing over on that channel. It would really mean a lot to me. You're going to do a lot of baseball over there, a lot of interviews and things like that. So definitely be sure to subscribe. And to the new Discord channel, subscribe to that. It's going to be very, very active for sure. But that is going to do it, guys, for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Remember, follow me over on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA, and that there's nothing in the world brings together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.